Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show.
Hey there, I am so excited for today because we are talking about something that drives me crazy.
Oh no, Cody, what is making you feel crazy today?
It is fast English. Whenever I watch a movie or listen to people at a cafe, it feels like they're speaking at 100 miles per hour. I know the words when I see them on paper, but when they speak, everything sounds like one big long word.
Cody, this is a secret tip that most people do not tell you. Native speakers do not actually speak faster. They just link their words together. It's like they're using a glue to stick words into one group.
Using glue? That sounds messy. But seriously, why does it sound so different?
It's because of something we call word connections. In English, we do not say every word separately. We do not say, I want to go to the park. We say, I want to go to the park.
Wow, when you said it the second time, it sounded like a song. The words want to became wanna. Is that what you mean?
Exactly. Many students struggle here because they try to hear every single letter. But in English, some letters just disappear. It's not that people are trying to be difficult, it's just how the rhythm of the language works.
So, if I want to understand these fast speakers, I need to stop looking for every word.
Yes, you need to listen for the stressed words. Those are the important words, like nouns and verbs. The small words like to, for, and usually get very small and very fast.
That makes sense. It's like looking at a picture. I see the big mountain first, not the tiny rocks on the ground.
That's a perfect way to think about it, Cody. Before we dive deeper into these sticky words, I want to remind everyone to please subscribe to the Cody English and hit the like button. It really helps us make more lessons for you.
Yes, please subscribe. It helps me feel less crazy about my English learning. Okay, Cleo, give me an example. What's a common way words stick together?
Let's look at consonant to vowel linking. This is a very common rule. When one word ends with a consonant sound, like the N in an, and the next word starts with a vowel sound, like the A in apple, they join.
So instead of an apple, it sounds like an apple.
Precisely. An apple. Pick it up. Turn it on. Do you hear how the K in pick moves to the I in it?
Pick it up. Oh, it sounds like one word, pick it up. That's why I can never find the words in my dictionary. I'm looking for pick it up, but it's actually 3 different words.
You're right. And when you learn to hear that connection, the fast English starts to slow down in your brain. You start to recognize the patterns.
I love that. Patterns are easier to learn than 1,000 separate words. What else happens when people speak fast?
Well, sometimes sounds change completely. For example, when a word ends in a T and the next word starts with a Y, they often make a ch sound.
Wait, T and Y make a ch sound? Can you give me an example of that?
Sure, think about the phrase meet you. Most people don't say meet you, they say meet you.
Meet you. I've heard that. In movies, when they say nice to meet you, it sounds like nice to meet you. I always thought they were just being lazy.
It's not lazy, Cody, it's just natural. It's easier for our mouths to move that way. If we stopped after every word, we would get very tired of talking.
I guess I would be tired too. So nice to meet you becomes nice to meet you. Are there other sounds like that?
There are. If a word ends in D and the next starts with Y, it sounds like a just sound. Like in did you, it becomes did you.
Did you. So did you go becomes did you go. This is like a secret code. Once you know the code, you can understand the message.
It really is a code. And the best part is, once you start hearing it, you'll hear it everywhere.
I feel like I'm finally getting the key to the lock. But Cleo, is it okay if I don't speak that way yet? I'm still a beginner.
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to speak this way to be understood, but you do need to know about it so you can understand others. Understanding is the first step. Speaking comes later.
That's a relief. I was worried I had to start saying did you and meet you immediately. I just want to know what the waiter is asking me at the restaurant.
And he's probably saying what you want instead of what do you want.
What you want. Wow, my brain is already starting to translate these sounds. This is going to change everything for my listening practice.
It really does change everything, Cody. Once your ears start looking for those connections, the wall of sound becomes a group of words you actually know.
It feels like I am finally turning on the lights in a dark room. But Cleo, I noticed something else. Sometimes people don't just link words, they make them shorter. Like instead of going to, they say gonna.
You are very observant. Those are called reductions. We reduce the sound of the words to save time and energy. Going to becomes gonna, want to becomes wanna, and got to becomes gotta.
I hear those in songs all the time. I wanna dance, or I'm gonna go home. Is it okay for me to use those when I speak?
At your level, it is better to focus on understanding them first. If you use them too much without the right rhythm, it might sound a bit strange. But when you hear a native speaker say, I'm gonna eat, your brain should immediately translate that to, I am going to eat.
Okay, so gonna equals going to. Got it. But what about when they just cut off the end of a word? Like when people say fishin' instead of fishing.
Yes, that G at the end of ing words is very shy. It likes to hide. So running becomes run in, and working becomes work in.
This is why it feels so fast. It's not that they're talking at a higher speed, they're just taking shortcuts. It's like they're taking the side streets instead of the main road.
Cody, that is a brilliant analogy. Using shortcuts makes the journey faster, but the destination is the same. Many students struggle here because they are waiting for that G sound, and when they don't hear it, they think they missed a word.
Exactly. I keep waiting for the full word, and by the time I realize what happened, the speaker is already 5 sentences ahead of me.
That is why you should practice shadowing. Have you ever heard of that?
Shadowing? Is that when I follow someone around in the dark?
Not quite. Shadowing is a technique where you listen to a short sentence and repeat it immediately after you hear it. You try to copy the speed, the connections, and the rhythm exactly.
Oh, like a shadow follows a person, my voice follows the speaker's voice.
Precisely. You don't even need to understand every word at first. Just try to mimic the sounds. If the speaker says, pick it up, you say, pick it up.
That sounds like a fun game. I can do that while watching my favorite shows.
It is very effective. It trains your ear to hear the groups of words rather than the individual letters. Remember, Cody, English is a stress-timed language.
Stress-timed? That sounds a bit stressful, Cleo.
I promise it is not. It just means that we stretch out the important words and squeeze the unimportant ones. Think of a heartbeat. Da-da, da-da.
Da-da. Okay, let me try. I want to go to school.
Exactly. I is small, want is big, to is small, go is big. The small words, the I and the to, get squeezed so they fit into the rhythm. That's why they sound fast.
So if I focus on the big words, the nouns and the verbs, I can probably understand the whole sentence even if the small words are blurry?
You've got it. You don't need the to or the to understand that someone wants to go to school. Your brain is smart enough to fill in the gaps.
This makes me feel so much better. I used to feel like a failure if I missed one tiny the or of. Now I know I can just let those go.
Definitely let them go. Cody, this is a secret tip. Even native speakers sometimes miss those tiny words. We just don't notice because we're focusing on the meaning.
Really? Even you?
Even me. If someone speaks very quickly, I'm only listening for the content words. If you tell me dog, park, ran, I know exactly what happened. A dog ran in the park.
Wow, so I should stop being a perfectionist and start being a meaning hunter.
Meaning hunter. I love that. That should be your new title, Cody.
I like it. Cody the Meaning Hunter. It sounds like a movie character.
Well, Mr. Meaning Hunter, there's one more big thing that happens in fast English. It's called the schwa sound.
The Schwa? That sounds like a character from a space movie. Is it an alien?
No, but it is the most common sound in the English language. It's a very weak, lazy sound. It sounds like
That's it?
Just It happens in almost every word that has more than one part. For example, the word about. We don't say about, we say about.
About. Oh, I hear it. The first letter is just a tiny little
Exactly. And in the word chocolate, we don't say chocolate, we say chocolate. The middle sound just disappears into a tiny schwa or vanishes completely.
This explains so much. No wonder I can't find these sounds. They're hiding.
They are definitely hiding, but now that you know about the schwa, you can start to find it everywhere. It's in computer, banana, and today.
Today, banana, computer. Wow, I'm doing it. I'm speaking the secret code.
You are, and notice how much more natural you sound when you don't overpronounce every letter.
It actually feels easier to say. My mouth doesn't have to work as hard.
That's the goal. English is a lazy language for the mouth. We want to do the least amount of work possible.
I think I'm going to be very good at being lazy with my English.
That's the spirit, Cody. But we have one more part to go to really master these listening skills.
I'm ready. Let's keep going.
We are on the final stretch now. You are doing great, Cody.
I feel like a detective. I am finding all these hidden sounds and shortcuts. But Cleo, even with all these tips, sometimes I still get stuck. What should I do when I'm listening to a real person and I totally lose the thread of the conversation?
That is a great question. First, don't panic. When you panic, your brain closes its doors and stops listening. The first thing to do is to look for context.
Context? You mean the situation around me?
Exactly. If you are at a train station and you hear a fast announcement with words like platform, delay, and minutes, you can guess what they're saying even if you don't hear every word.
So I should use my eyes and my common sense as much as my ears.
Precisely. Also, don't be afraid to ask for a speed check. You can say, "I'm sorry, could you say that a little slower?" Or, "Could you repeat the last part?"
I always felt embarrassed to ask that. I thought it meant my English was bad.
Not at all. Even native speakers ask each other to repeat things if the environment is noisy or if someone is speaking too fast. It shows you are an active listener.
That makes me feel better. I'm not a bad student. I'm just an active listener.
That's right. Now let's do a quick recap of what we learned today. Cody, do you remember the first big tip?
Yes, words stick together like glue. We called it linking. Like pick it up sounds like pick it up.
Perfect. And what about when sounds change completely, like t and y?
Oh, I remember that one because it was a ch sound. Like meet you becomes meet you, and did you becomes did you.
Spot on. And what about those lazy words we talked about?
Those are reductions. Gonna, wanna, and gotta. And my new favorite, the schwa sound, which is just that tiny sound in words like about or banana.
You have a great memory, Cody. Remember, the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to get the big picture. Listen for those content words, the big mountains, and let the tiny rocks fall away.
I feel so much more confident now. Fast English doesn't feel like a scary monster anymore. It just feels like a puzzle I'm learning to solve.
I love that attitude. Practice a little bit every day. Listen to 5 minutes of a podcast or a video and try to find just 1 or 2 links or reductions.
I can definitely do that. It's like a daily treasure hunt.
It really is. Well, we're almost at the end of our episode. Before we go, we want to hear from you.
Yes, our question for the comments today is what is the hardest phrase for you to understand when people speak fast? Tell us the phrase, and maybe we can help you crack the code in a future episode.
We can't wait to read your answers. Thank you for joining us today on the Cody English.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.